broadcast network, AfterBuzz TV. Over 20 million weekly downloads in over 150 countries, and your #1 source for after-show entertainment. AfterBuzz TV, the destination for TV superfans. Producing aftershows for over 300 of your favorite TV shows, interviewing celebrities and showrunners, and bringing you behind-the-scenes exclusives. All thanks to E! Entertainment's Maria Menounos, producer Kevin Undergaro, and internet leader Akamai. Now, let the buzz begin!
See everyone's moves. Let's do it. Let's see the moves. Oh yeah.
Hard to not twist to this one.
Hey After Buzzers, and welcome to another vinyl after show. Tonight we're talking season 1, episode 6, Cyclone. All right, and before we dive into the episode, I want to make sure you guys are all subscribed to us on YouTube, youtube.com/AfterBuzzTV, and you can find all of our weekly after shows on iTunes and SoundCloud as well. And when you're in iTunes, go ahead and give us a 5-star rating and leave us a nice little review, and we will read it on the air for you. I'm Lauren Salaun. You can find me all over the internet at Lauren Salaun, and introduce yourselves.
Steve. I was trying to help. Hi, I'm Steve Kaufmann. You can find me on Twitter at Steve Kaufmann. That is Kaufmann. I was trying
Dramatic pause.
I was trying
to get in on a right beat.
Like the one word in the song.
Steve.
How do I follow that up? Layla. Yeah. You can find me.
She's Layla.
Sing the Layla song. I'm not going to sing. Right. You can find me on Instagram or Twitter at Laila Sadny.
Hi everyone, I'm Jeff Graham. Thanks for tuning in. You guys can find me on Twitter at Jeffrey C. Graham and on Instagram at Jeffrey Crane Graham.
So many grams. Oh, that kind of
that worked out.
That's good for this episode, actually.
How many grams were there?
Speaking of, let's get on into it. So we start this episode with Richie basically waking up from, maybe not even waking up, seeing him
existing
during a
3-day
bender in the pool house.
Blacked out.
With Ernst, who later we learn is just a hallucination.
I mean, he's real to. It's still real to Richie.
It's very real to Richie, but not. And it seemed fishy from that initial moment.
Like,
wait, Ernst was it? I'm just kidding.
Like kind of like, who is this guy? Like, where'd he come from?
We saw Ernst in the Andy Warhol flashback.
Right.
Yeah.
Earlier in the series, like, we knew Ernst was a guy he knew.
Right.
But it was real suspicious that he wasn't in his present life up until this moment.
And also during the episode, it had that feeling of like he's a little like devil on his shoulders. Like, this guy needs to go away.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
And
I was just gonna say, I'm not one to like usually foresee these things, but I pretty much right away was like, I don't think Ernst is real. I think he's being Tyler Durden right now.
Well, I also think the Tyler Durden is a very popular trope right now.
Right.
That's actually what I tweeted, and it wasn't mean to this show at all.
Yeah.
But it's like, that happened on The Leftovers this season, that happened on Mr. Robot this season. Like, that's been happening a bit on television right now, where somebody sees someone that isn't there.
Right.
So there was a bit of an indicator.
Well, and just their dynamic, it didn't seem like, I'm like, this doesn't seem like they hang out regularly.
Yeah,
what's going on here?
If they hung out regularly, we would have seen him by now, other than a flashback.
Exactly. Yeah. And so this is all happening because Devin's left. She stormed off last week and is going back and hanging out with Ingrid and Andy and that whole crew, back in her like heyday of being like an it girl, basically. And Ernst is telling him, like, this is why I told you not to marry her. Like, she's a spoiled little bitch, like, saying stuff like that, and just, like, that Ingrid's a bad influence, and just, like, definitely the devil on his shoulder.
Devin's little runoff wasn't as bad as, like, what I was expecting it to be. Like, she smoked a little pot, and she did a little, like, nude modeling. Yeah. I mean, it could have been a lot worse. I was expecting more.
Were you expecting like complete free love, bohemian? Bohemian orgies.
More of a relapse. Like,
I almost wasn't, because I feel like her just leaving, like that was such a huge step anyway that I feel like
so here's my question.
I didn't think she would just crumble and like go disaster mode like Richie.
Are we happy that she didn't go crumble mode and go disaster mode like Richie?
Yes.
Yeah, I am.
I would have been curious to watch her. I don't know. It would be interesting to me to see Devin show us something besides put together and or sad.
I think like her like crumble like is different though. I don't think it's not going to be like Richie's extent. Like hers was more of kind of just like being the little like pretty party girl and like having friends and making out and all that. But I don't see her going on full on Richie.
Although I guess they must really trust that maid. Or Devin must really trust that maid.
The nanny?
She's like, see ya.
The nanny where it's just like, literally, I can
kids.
leave my children with you while I run away from the whole situation. Like, it must be nice.
I don't think she thought he was going to go on a... Well, she should have, but, you know.
Based on how he's been acting.
Can we talk about... Go ahead, Steve.
But was Richie ever the type to, like, look after the kids at all? Like, she would have had to know she was essentially leaving them in the care of...
Right.
The
She may have
nanny
been
slash
I think
maid.
she was an au pair. Like, I think she wasn't necessarily just a maid. But I don't know.
Yeah, she's like a live-in like nanny.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure she was a live-in nanny slash maid, although I'm pretty sure they never named her or mentioned her at all, other than in this scene where, like, she exists.
It would actually make me feel better because the one thing I've thought through these first 5 episodes is, like, but what about the kids?
Yeah.
Because, like, that kind of has been just swept under the rug. So if they have an au pair, like, at least... There's like some...
Right. Someone that they kind of know and have a relationship with.
At least they're doing like 1.5 of Maslow's hierarchy.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like they are safe.
While we're talking about the kids,
Sleep.
did you guys think the kids looked like they would have been Devin and Richie's kids?
Not really.
For the girl
looked a little tan.
She looks like she might be Mexican.
I mean,
are we going to learn something about Richie's?
No. We learned that Richie
is Sicilian,
said
right?
his mom was half black.
He's Sicilian,
He said
I think,
that.
or something.
I mean, I think in real life, Bobby's definitely
So I
Italian.
guess
Obviously,
she could have.
She's
Kids
Italian.
would be a little.
I don't see people that way.
Sometimes, you guys.
Fair enough, Steve.
Sometimes, though, I mean, Devin is very Olivia. Is very fair-skinned, like that sort of thing, and so and I mean, a lot of my friends have kids and stuff, and especially those who have 2, one will look so much like one parent, and then the second or something will look so much like the other.
Yeah.
In terms of like hair color, like just face, like skin tone,
Genetics.
all that stuff. It's crazy,
I'm just going to say something insane, and you guys can write it off.
Go for it.
Are we sure that Richie's the father of both children?
No. Well, how would we be?
I mean,
Devin was a little crazy.
Devin was nuts.
I feel
I'm
like
pregnant. Not what you're talking.
I feel like at this point, if that's not a focal point of the show, it becomes more of a twist than a point.
You're right, which this isn't that kind of show.
Yeah, like this isn't like, what, a twist? We're like, what?
You're right.
Why
but
did
like,
you wait
what
9
if
weeks
Lester
to tell
Grimes
us?
is the dad?
No, not
There's
at all.
no way.
No.
All right, good.
No.
Move on.
I also think that Devin is so loyal to him too, and since they got together, I mean, they've had this tumultuous and like drug-fueled past and everything, and both have been very wild, like back in the day. But I think together, when they're like on the same page, they're very committed.
I liked Devin a lot in this episode because I feel like we finally got to see her be more real. It wasn't such a like facade, and just got to see her like open up and be more of a human. I don't know. I really enjoyed the scenes with her.
Yeah. Let's keep talking about those. So we see her later, with Ingrid and all of them, and she's like helping out with the photo shoots and the stuff that they're doing, and then like strips down her clothes to be like, well, then I'll stand in and model. Like it's almost, it came off like a tiny bit desperate, almost like, I just want to be a part of this, let me help sort of thing, but at the same time not very much.
But it was already that, before that it felt that way, because she was, it's not like she went there to be the it girl, she went there to like be the girl that runs to the store.
Right, just to
so
help
it was
out
already in a desperate place, so they're like, I'll just be naked now.
She just wanted to be around them and kind of be a part of something again.
And feel like needed and wanted, not in the like wanted like sexual way, but just like, like
I have a purpose other than being a
exactly.
Right. Yeah, I was hoping you guys saw that too, because I was like, am I just being like gross? Like she's seeming like she takes off her clothes because she's desperate, because she's in a bad place, or is she being badass? Like, is this like a powerful reclaiming? I didn't know how to read it.
I don't think it was, because it was from such a place of like being wounded and broken feeling. Because later when we see her with Ingrid just like break down, it's not from this like
I love the shot too, like when she was sitting there naked and gonna pose, and then the scene with the artist, the guy, like she just her like looking off into the mirror and watching her and like him and Ingrid kiss, and just how like intense like her eyes were. Just
Well, to
like
be fair, that was a little unprofessional of them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It was a little
but it's like
unprofessional,
it's probably like so normal. Like
I was
you're
gonna
probably
say,
used to that.
professionalism in the world of Andy Warhol's performance art. What are the rules? Like, but no.
I mean, if someone's naked on your bed, you should probably like paint them or mache them or
Do
whatever you're doing there.
Another last crazy question I have about this: did you guys sense anything between Ingrid and Devin that wasn't friendship?
Well,
I feel like they might have been intimate at one point.
I kind of sense
for
like
sure.
Okay, cool. Me too.
All right, I just took that
just
as
in all the
closeness.
little comments that went on throughout the episode.
for sure. So with Ernst even being like, well, maybe they're you know
That,
having
and then
special
kind
time
of-
together.
And then the whole thing like, I'm sorry, I forgot the guy's name that she's with, the artist.
Oh gosh.
But him saying like,
Andy
who's-
Warhol. No, I'm just kidding.
no, the other one. Who's gonna hurt her more, me or you?
Right.
Just kind of like I think he knows about
And
their past.
talking about how they would like share guys, swap guys
Right.
back in the day. So yeah, for sure they
Okay,
had.
cool. I didn't think
there
that
was
was
stuff
crazy,
going on.
but I was ready for you guys to be like, what?
Well, no, I think I think Ernst saying it first discredited the whole thing to me before I ever saw anything.
Exactly.
Where I was like, oh, well, if Ernst said it, he's not even real.
He's just being a jerk.
He's like an
Trying to-
unreliable narrator for
Yeah.
us. So yeah. Okay,
Meaning
cool.
he
No,
might be dead on. though.
I think there was probably something there, and we did see, like, if we're remembering way back, I don't know if it was in the pilot or a second episode or something, when Richie and Ingrid see each other, and there was some awkwardness there. So
Birthday
who knows
party.
if that was because of it's related to Devin's wild past, or because like part of the wild past also involved kind of they being
the two of them
really
works
close
kind of
friends.
together too. Yeah, Richie and her.
Yeah. So
doing
yeah,
that
very-
70s stuff.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, you know, hey, it's all about love. All right. So, and then in the end, obviously, I mean, jumping ahead, we'll continue with Devin. You know, she comes home. Richie's obviously been on his terror, and this is the calmest we've seen him the entire episode when he's there, and he seemed like I was so hopeful in that moment because I'm like, oh my gosh, he's fine. Finally, we're chilling out and not like snorting coke every 5 seconds and telling her, you know, I want to fix it, I want to make it right. And I'm like, okay, they're gonna do it. And the second he says he was hanging out with Ernst, like her face,
Right.
and I went like, obviously, you know, she knows like, oh shit, like this has been way worse than I thought, because if you're like, you've been hanging out with this guy who's not here the whole day.
Right.
But I was so curious, like, why was that such a big deal? Not because he was a hallucination, but like, what was
think-
that history
well,
with
no.
Ernst?
Oh, like who Ernst was
Yeah.
before that car? Because we saw the car that we saw, like...
He's
It
that
was-
good friend that
Yeah,
obviously died.
Yeah,
Probably
he
made
was a
them
good
probably
friend
sober
they
up.
met in the Warhol days. He might have even been closer to her before Richie met her. But, yeah, and I think also that goes beyond, or that should just go beyond a bender, where it's like, no, you're seeing people, like that's...
Right.
You're seeing people.
Even in like the mid 70s, like no, that's a known psychological problem that goes beyond just drug use.
Right.
And then he kind of goes into her saying, like, I'm kind of tired of your breakdown. It's like, wait a minute, what do you mean my breakdown? You're hanging out with our dead
flips
friends.
the whole thing.
She's
you
like,
know?
okay, and he's like going into her about, you're a mom, you left your kids, you need to stay with your kids. She's like, you know what, I'm gonna leave your
I'm gonna stay with the kids.
I'll stay with the
and
kids,
then
and
she
you're not.
pieces out, which
I don't blame her.
I'm
I really
proud
don't
she
blame
did
her.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that was the right move.
It was the right move. I mean, like, this was an important revelation for me. Like, this, I'm glad this happened because I'm kind of getting to the point where I'm like, I need to feel something for Richie. Like, I need to either pity him or, like, admire him or some kind of. And so, like, this was important because I was like, oh, there's some serious guilt. Like, there's a reason for me to really understand and kind of get on board with these insane choices that he's making. You know what I mean? Because if it was just like he's an addict, I get that, but like it's fun to see another side to someone. Like up until now, I don't know if we've seen a ton. Like I don't know. This was important for me.
We saw a true rock bottom too.
We saw true rock bottom. Yeah.
Of like what his past rock bottom was to make this relapse so bad.
Right.
So that we understand, like, no, somebody died.
Right.
Somebody died, and there were 3 other people in the car that could have died.
Right.
Numbers, 3 other people in the car, including yourself.
Right.
They could have died. Like, that's an incredible
3.5.
rock bottom.
I mean, like also Devin's.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, that was... She was drinking, right?
Oh wow.
Or was she not? Or was it just the other...
They were all drinking.
Yeah, they were all drinking because So that would have been like the late 60s, and I think that was cool to
Yeah.
be pregnant and drinking.
So
Like that
okay.
was before
It
we
was like
knew,
before it could be bad for you.
before we had any idea that was bad.
I didn't think about that. That's a good point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was obviously pretty nuts, but I mean, I loved her finally, like, you know, we saw it last week, her leaving, and now we see it like the next step of leaving. And, you know, Richie already had a huge meltdown because of her being gone for a couple days, and now, like,
Well, this is the fun. I mean,
No
she
way.
took
So we'll
the
see.
kids and everything. Yeah.
So let's talk about Richie this episode. So he is like going nuts at work. Like, honestly,
How did he go to
how
work?
do you not,
First of all, like that. 3 days, no sleep. Like,
I've never done cocaine. How does your brain, like, how do you not pass out if you're doing it like every 5 seconds? Like, come on.
Well, I think you're doing it every 5 seconds to not pass out.
Right, but like, how do you not explode your brain? How do drugs
Because
work?
it's messing with it's messing with
It's messing with your heart.
It's working on the amphetamines in your heart. Like it's a different
I just
system.
don't understand how you could go to work after just being up for 3 days straight.
I know.
Minus
Right?
the drugs, minus anything. Like, okay. Like,
Sometimes I have champagne, you guys.
I mean, getting a little crazy.
I hear you. Like,
What?
I forget if this is before, after we started the show, Steve, when you go, someone's like, I mean, Richie hadn't slept for 3 days. You're like, has Richie slept? I mean, like, I feel like this has just been 6 episodes of a tear. Like, I don't think we've seen sober Richie some.
Yeah, well, in the
I'm pretty
very
sure he-
beginning.
Pretty
Yeah.
sure he slept at least 6 hours after a building fell on him.
That's true.
Yeah, he
That may
got
have
knocked
been
out.
the only
sleep.
amount of sleep he got.
Very
in this-
deep sleep.
Yeah.
Another-
That's it. That counts.
Yeah, that's true. I loved, I know it's kind of jumping off the topic, but I loved Andy. Like, I love her and like her whole presence
Yes.
on
Yeah.
the show now. Like, I just wanted to talk about her a little bit.
Yeah,
Me
yeah.
too.
So, and that happens pretty early. She's coming in to, you know, do like image control, PR stuff. And I didn't know, did you guys think, so at first when she and Zach meet up, I felt
yeah.
like there's
a little
tension
chemistry.
there. But then it felt like it turned into chemistry. I was like, okay, is he feeling like intimidated by her coming into the scene? But then they were so sweet to each other,
Yeah.
like old friends.
You
I think they were
Exactly.
just old friends.
Okay, that's what. Yeah,
I
that's
think
what
it was
felt
old
like
friends
toward the
too.
end.
There was something, but I think it was just supposed to be read as like relief that there's like someone
Yes.
else, old friends.
Same.
Although
Who's
that
gonna
is
help?
the cover art on HBO Go. If you go on HBO Go, it's a picture of like her with her arm around him.
Really?
That it's like that's part of where the implication comes from, where you see that picture more than a lot
the
of other.
subconscious. I thought it was Richie and Aviators. Am I thinking of something else?
No, that's the whole poster. Like there's a thumbnail for this episode specifically,
gotcha.
and it's a still from
You're
the
right.
episode. And
It
it's
was.
that.
We were subconsciously affected.
We were subconsciously
I'm pretty
told.
sure I passed Ray Romano yesterday after hiking.
Say what?
I love
Yeah,
her.
Were you
and I
Runyon?
didn't. No, Fryman.
Okay.
And we're walking, and I walked by, and I was like, and I'm like, wait, I recognize him, but he could just look kind of like Ray Romano. And then I was like, and then one of our friends who we were with earlier texted him, like, Ray Romano in the parking lot. I was like,
Zach.
yeah, and I was like, I should have told him. But anyway, yeah. So they have that moment. Andy wants to, you know, she's doing all this. She's got all
awesome,
these
yeah.
ideas. I love it. I love when she's like, okay, we got to talk about the toilet logo, and
That's
everyone's
Yeah.
like,
hilarious.
what?
I
She's
know.
like,
You know-
come on, no one's told you the logo looks like a toilet.
That place is desperately in need of a woman's touch.
You're right.
and I, so I'm glad she's there.
Well, and because then part of me felt like, and I think it's because she's such a good character that I don't totally feel this way, but she kind of feels like an ex machina in the sense that she just comes in and fixes so much. Like,
I hear you.
that like pretty much Richie messed stuff up for so long that like she's coming in this morning, like she's coming in today and it's just like I'm just gonna fix all the stuff Richie
You
broke.
know, I hear what you're saying. I kind of view her more as just like a breath of fresh
Yeah,
air.
like she's better written than that.
Right.
She
Yeah.
doesn't. If done poorly, this character would just feel like easy writing or writing off of things.
Right.
Where it's like these are problems now because we have her,
Right.
Yeah.
and we got to solve that in one sentence anyway.
No, I hear what you're
Right.
saying.
But I don't think we saw anything get fixed yet.
Yeah.
You know, she's just
Right.
like, here, like, first day in, let's have a meeting. I'm going to talk about all the great
Right.
ideas, which,
Right.
you know, if you're a big shot like that and you're in a very important position, you know, you want to, like, come in and
You have to.
put your
Yeah.
foot down
Exactly.
and assert your expertise and all that.
We get to see David Bowie.
Yes. So that's even furthering her, like,
She
you
just
know,
knows
Badass
David Bowie.
career.
knows
Connects.
people.
Yeah, she
Yeah.
knows people and they love her.
Yeah.
And she's a woman, so it helps.
She's a badass. Yeah.
She's cool. I like her, and I love her attitude and everything. And in that meeting, you know, she asks Richie about Corso, and he freaks out. And Corso, right, is the Corso was he the one that was at
the radio
Bucks?
DJ? No, not Buck. He was with him. Yeah.
So that's the guy that's involved with all that. And then so Richie, of course, like, what are you talking about? Freaks out, storms out of the meeting, starts having sex with that receptionist that we hate.
Of all the people, she's
we're like,
loving
of
it.
course it's her.
Classic Finestra sex too. On the bathroom.
Seriously,
on the
that's
sink,
his
and then
style.
I think
staring.
that's what made him stop, though. He was like flashback to Devin.
Yeah,
Right.
He was like,
Was I the only one who saw that one coming?
Yeah,
That he was like, I kind of felt like Heather was there for when he does relapse with his. When he does relapse with Devin, where it's just like, nope, that's what I want. I'm gonna hire her and leave her right there.
that's true. I
Whenever
didn't
I'm
really
ready.
predict it,
I didn't know.
but now that you say it.
I didn't that closely, but I knew she was gonna, like, I could feel her, like, weaseling her way.
She hated all the
into
women that
things.
were all like getting ahead because they
Yeah.
were like dating the artist, and then she's like, you know
never
what, I'm
trusted
gonna.
her.
Yeah.
I'm
I'm gonna
one
have
up you.
7 minutes in heaven with Richie Finestra.
Gosh, yeah,
It
and
is
it's
his
in
type,
his
kind of,
office
you know?
bathroom, right?
Yeah, he has personal
And
bathroom.
Zach comes in, and then she like walks out like 5 minutes later. Ooh,
Fixing herself. Like, oh god.
oh gosh, yeah.
She's got
But
stuff
I'm
to
glad
do.
he
She
couldn't
can't.
like go through with it.
Yeah. I mean,
his heart's in the right place.
That's
I don't
still
know.
cheating.
I don't know.
Oh, well, yeah,
That's pretty
We're
much
judging.
I'm not saying it's
Wait a
not.
minute.
It's
I'm
still awful.
I'm pretty sure
he-
he banged the girl from the club the week last week, right?
I guess that was never
we have
addressed.
know.
we have no
Yeah.
confirmation of that.
She was dancing towards him, and then he wound up on a
Yeah.
3-day bender while Devin wasn't there. Like, I have to assume he already cheated.
No,
Well-
I don't think so, because I think that we're waiting
think-
for that sort of thing
Okay.
that they would show us if it happened.
And that's why they
so
were like
obviously they
pushing
did.
the whole issue with like him, like, why aren't you hooking up with like anyone at the office, or Devin's gone, now's your chance, you're free. 'Cause I don't think he has.
So you guys thought that Richie didn't go through with it because he chose not to.
Oh, well, no. I think things happened, unfortunately for
Right.
him, against his will.
There was
I
a
think
biological
a couple of
resistance.
things. I think that the biological reason, and I also think that he kind of just had a flash of Devin in him, and like the mirror shot,
Right,
And that was
like,
whoa,
that was the
whoa.
reason that made
Whatever
that
the
all
reason.
happen.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't think
the drugs.
had things not softened up, then I think he probably would have gone through with it. But yeah, his body.
Also,
Shut it down.
good girl gamer in the chat. Do you guys think Devin and Richie are going to last
Can I be honest,
this
Good Girl
week?
Gamer?
Yeah, with this week.
I don't. Good Girl Gamer. I don't know if I want them to last. I think I'm shipping Randy.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Oh.
No, she's
think-
too good for him.
I think
But
that,
what if she makes him good? Do you know what I mean? Because she won't put up with his shit. Pardon my French. But like, I feel like Devin isn't the right person for him necessarily because she'll leave. Whereas I feel like Andy would like yell. I guess.
yeah, but
I don't know.
But
She's
I
done
think
that.
Devin
Andy's above
should
it.
leave in this
No,
situation.
she should.
And I think Andy's above all this.
Maybe
I
you're
don't
right.
think Devin and Richie, I see that they love each other and they have that attraction, love, or whatever, but I don't think that they're they're not healthy for each other.
Right.
Like, they're different personalities, and they would be better off probably with other people.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
we haven't seen them functioning in a healthy way. You know, the season started with the deal falling through, and then like, you know, everything's
things,
in
yeah.
mayhem and like murder and drugs and stuff. So I don't think we've gotten to see what they're like at a normal level. But because I still do like them
Do you?
together. I want them to figure their shit out,
cute.
which mostly I think involves Richie not being so high all the time.
Well, yeah, that's
and
what I
then-
was gonna say. That like a lot of times people are like
Respecting
they need
her.
to figure their shit out, but sometimes there's like 80% is one person.
Exactly.
Well, I even seen like when he was sober for the brief time he was in the beginning of the show that she wasn't really that happy.
Oh, because him on drugs that's only accelerating the problem,
Of course.
which is that he sees her as kind of an object.
Yeah.
So if they do break up by the end of this season, I would not be surprised.
Because I think Richie
Or stay broken up.
Richie respects Andy. I don't think he really respects Devin. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't think Devin's enough of like an intellectual. I mean, I like Devin, and so I don't want to sound like I'm speaking poorly about her, but I think he wants a boss and high
she's not
heels
really
and a
her
power
own-
suit.
He views her as
person.
weak. He does view
Yeah.
her as weak.
Right. I mean, she's like an artist. She's a model. I think he needs like a badass queen in a freaking power suit with high heels and like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I want Devin to pull like a Lester move.
Yeah.
Do something.
Right.
Like while she's gone doing her own thing, like be like, okay, well, I'm going to do these projects, or like, obviously with that dance center, I don't think anything's going to happen there, but who knows, you know, those sorts of things. And she's like, all right, I'm going to have this me time, and I'm going to figure out what I'm doing for myself and my life. If
needs
it
that.
does or doesn't involve you, and then who knows?
Because the last thing I'll say about it is that when Andy asked why didn't we work out, Richie said she was more beautiful than you. But I think the problem is, what did that get Richie? Do you know what I mean? That was his tragic flaw, was he chose beauty over chemistry, is how I'm reading it. Whereas, like, had he have... It's kind of like, you know, you fall... Like, your high school crush is you're attracted to, but you end up being with your best friend. That you're also attracted... Like,
Right.
She's
I know.
Devin's the trophy.
Devin's the trophy, and I think Andy could be the life partner. I don't know.
Oh, I don't see it. I don't see the chemistry there from either side.
I see Richie too far off the deep end for Andy to ever consider him an option.
Andy and Zach kind of having some chemistry.
Yeah.
I see that.
Yeah.
Although,
and he wants to be Richie, so I mean,
although
it's perfect.
she wasn't at Zach's daughter's bat mitzvah, so rude. I know you just joined the company, but I mean, there was clearly a plate.
Schmoozing with
Richie's
other
plate
people.
was clearly there for you.
Yeah.
He wasn't eating.
Yeah.
He wasn't hungry.
You ordered the chicken and then never had it.
At the bat mitzvah, I am happy that, I mean, we knew Richie going in there. We're like, oh gosh, he's going to cause a scene.
Yeah.
But it was actually Zach who ended up, like, really being the one to, like, throw down.
It was awesome.
And I'm happy he, like,
Well, he was pissed. It's
Called
like,
it
it's
on
like
Richie.
pushing and pushing. Like, you show up 6 hours late, you're coked out of your mind.
he's
You're
like,
at my
it's kinda
daughter's.
over.
I'm paying for this, and I'm broke because you screwed the deal up. So yeah, he just snapped. I liked it too.
It was great.
yeah.
Needed to happen.
I liked it too because neither of them were. Well, obviously Richie was wrong for being on coke, but like neither of them were like so wrong in their principles. Whereas Richie was like, no, we got into this to like actually make music that we like and enjoy and all this stuff. And I was trying to harken back to that. Yes, I came to that because I was on coke and a building fell on me and I killed a guy. And like I went through a lot of stuff to get there, but I'm ultimately right. And then Zach was also, well, yeah, you could have like talked to me though.
Zach doesn't really think that now, and now with Andy coming in, that he's gonna have a place though. He thinks like, oh well, I'm getting kind of, what am I, your party planner? But
yeah, that was good. That dynamic was maybe one of my favorite things about the episode. It was kind of fun to see Richie not have conflict with a woman, like to have. I mean, he's had plenty of work conflict, but like, I don't know, it was more workplace stuff.
Yeah, and it was good to see Zach finally stand up to him, too.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
Love that. And in that, right kind of after that scene, the pianist is playing David Bowie, Life on Mars, which is sung by Trey Songz.
I read that.
That's who did
Yes.
that. Because I was like, dang, this is good.
yeah,
And I was like, who is
I
that
was
guy?
thinking
And
like he was gonna discover
Songz.
that guy and like sign him or something.
I'm
Zach,
not sure if that was. I don't know if he's going to discover necessarily that guy as much as he's rediscovering what Richie did in the first episode, which is just like
the love for music.
that love
Yeah.
for music and like love for something you've never heard and like how it can transport you and like it looked, because I think it was like pretty much corresponded to his wife like yelling at a waiter. And it was him sitting there at a party that was dying down that he spent a bunch of money on he didn't have, and he's sitting there smiling finally of just like I get music now,
Right.
Yeah.
or I remember music. I hope he would have eventually.
Right.
Yeah. Re-remembering it.
Yeah, he's re-remembering music,
Yeah.
and maybe he should sign that guy because that guy was great.
Yeah. And you do see, I mean, like, obviously him and Richie are going to make amends or do something together because you've seen the little preview for next week, the two of them together out.
Well, because they had their spat. They're their spat. They
got it out of the
all
way.
you can do is move on.
Kiss and make up.
Exactly. I thought that the casting of Noah Bean for Bowie was so
Yes.
good, which is so
Really
funny
good.
because, if you look at pictures of him, he doesn't really look like super like him,
Can I
but I
see?
guess he's gotten
I said
he's
the casting
gotten
was so great for
that
Bowie.
he looks like Bowie a lot. Like it's not. He's gotten that, but the way they did his makeup and everything, it was so good.
Yeah, his mannerisms.
Yeah, it was incredible. That was so good.
Chris,
And I love that, Andy's like buddy with him. He's like, oh, let's have a meeting.
Yeah, just us.
Yeah.
Like, oh. He didn't want the record, the other.
Well, also, if she's secretly dating David Bowie, there's no chance with her and Richie.
or anyone
compare?
else.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Oh gosh, yeah. So
I like that they dedicated it to David Bowie at the
I
end
know
too.
that was really sweet. Yeah, it was kind of sad watching. With all the music and stuff happening, it was like it was a sad one. But anyway, let's talk about the nasty bits a little bit. So they're searching for a replacement guitarist. They can't find anybody, and Kip ends up chasing this guy down the street.
I love it.
I loved that. And he's like, wait, I just want to know if you like
It's funny because it's kind of like, you know, he's jamming in the guitar store, and they're just like, they're vibing together, and it's kind of like, this guitarist is like awesome. He's more of like a rhythm guitar Kip player. He's not like a star guitar player, and it's kind of like his dad, you know, in Keith Richards kind of thing, like Rolling Stone type thing.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is awesome. And he saw that this guy was also like, you know, against like just robbing the store, running out. It was like badass, and he's like, I want you.
I loved that. He's like, dude, I just want to ask you to be in my band, man. I think you're
Seriously,
cool.
bro.
It's an awesome story how like they came to be together.
Yeah, I just think you're cool.
In the process, I wound up stealing a Les Paul I could have actually purchased because I have a record contract.
Right,
He
exactly.
doesn't, it's more just like getting away with something.
Well, that too.
You were saying that was based on something, actually?
No, I was just saying I could see how like the two of their chemistry could kind of almost
Well,
be
I was
like
reading-
him and his dad.
I think
you know, his dad's and Keith Richards.
the Sex Pistols, I was reading somewhere online that this does come from like lore, like rock lore, and I think it was the Sex Pistols. I don't want to get that wrong because I know someone in the comments will be like it was actually, but for those of you who are interested in that scene, look it up because I do believe it was based in the formation of a real classic rock band. It was just kind of like a little nod.
Oh, how cool.
Yeah.
That'd
Yeah.
be
I could
really
see- I
neat.
mean, yeah, I could see
I
that.
didn't read that. That would be awesome.
Yeah.
That's.
I think the Sex Pistols, but I'm not positive.
Yeah. So I think we've got like, I mean, that was kind of it. This was all
Real
focused
succinct
on
episode, yeah.
Richie's, like, as the episode is titled, Cyclone, like his tear through everyone's lives and through the whole situation and all that. What were
I was
you
gonna say, like in the one of the final scenes when Ernst, like when he's like, I want to go get a hot dog at the end, and you see the back of his head all bloody. Did you think Richie was having like a flashback to when he killed the radio guy?
Oh, interesting.
That's what I kind of almost first thought.
It was another haunting.
Yeah.
Or just to the real, what actually happened.
Because it looked like he
Yeah.
fell out of the car because he wasn't. Ernst fell out of the car because he wasn't wearing a seatbelt, and then probably scraped up the back of his head on the asphalt.
Had we
Yeah.
seen,
Which would have
I don't
been-
remember, had we seen the back of Ernst's head?
We saw him.
At any
we
point
saw him
until
laying
the very
on his.
end?
We saw him laying on. Or no.
No, I don't think so.
So could it have been that way the whole time?
Possibly.
And then we just see it turn and then we're like, oh, that's what's up?
Yeah.
Oh.
I don't remember.
And the final scene with like Buddy Holly playing and like the
Yeah.
shot of him kind
In
of.
typical Sixth Sense fashion.
I was gonna
Right,
say.
exactly.
Pretty sure your wound does not go away.
Donnie Darko sort
Yeah.
of
Bleeding
thing.
the
Or
whole
Donnie
time.
Darko.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Oh, interesting.
Voldemort and Professor Quirrell.
Yeah, like
all-
when you. Because I mean, there are two different types. There's the Sixth Sense type where you see a dead person that's already dead, or there's Tyler Durden where it's you see a person that you've manifested.
Right.
Right.
Or
Or-
there's the combo.
There's the combo, which is the Mr. Robot, where
Yeah.
it's
Oh,
your
gosh.
dead dad who
Oh,
doesn't
no,
have.
I haven't watched that show yet. Don't spoil it. for
Sorry,
me.
it's something or other.
It's on my short list. No. Damn
the
it.
first episode, right?
Okay, but it's just dang it, it's not.
makes it
Stop.
okay. It's
I'll try
okay.
to forget. I'll fill my brain with other things and just flush it out. And I like how they put double meaning into like so far all the episode titles. You know, Cyclone. Obviously, he's stopped there at the end, like staring at this roller coaster called Cyclone. That's not why the episode's called that. You know, but
Double
it's a
meaning.
nice little tie-in. I like that.
No, yeah, the
Yeah,
writing's
they do.
really strong. Like there's been a lot of smart, kind of almost literary element. I'd say in the way that music can sometimes feel like literature,
Yeah.
and feel literary. This too is kind of like embracing that, you know.
Definitely.
So
I'm
yeah.
so sorry to everyone for spoiling Mr. But either way, you guys should watch the Mr. Robot panel here on AfterBuzz TV.
Were you on it?
But yes.
Nice.
That's why for me, I'm like, how has no one seen that show?
He's got mad with power.
I've been told
I haven't seen
by
it.
a few people that I really need to watch it.
It's pretty freaking good.
I've heard.
Yeah.
I've heard.
Well, thanks,
Now
Steve Kaufmann.
Now I
you don't
know.
have to.
Now I know what's up. Anyway, okie doke. Do we have anything else that we need to cover from this episode? I mean, it was pretty
Not
like
much Jamie. We didn't really get much Jamie.
No,
did
No,
we?
not a little bit.
My
No.
girl.
Other than her getting robbed.
Yeah.
seriously. She's like, "Hey,
And
boss,
felt up at the
sorry,
same
if you're
time.
gonna like steal all my coke, you're gonna have to pay me a little bit more for it."
That was a
Like,
lot.
Yeah.
I think we got it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think
so.
so. Should we head into
Boom.
some predictions?
Let's predict.
Let's predict things.
Yeah.
And now, your AfterBuzz TV
Okay,
predictions.
so I think that Richie's gonna come out of his crazy and like start getting back on track. But I think that just sets us up for another big fall.
That was mine too. But, like,
This is only
Yeah.
episode 6,
Right.
you
I
guys.
know.
or he's gonna
Sober up.
try to sober up and realize that he's like useless as a record man, he's as a record man completely sober.
Right.
And then he has to deal with that he
I
needs,
see.
that he needs to be a creative type, or like because he ultimately needs to fix the stuff within himself to be able to deal with it, and he thinks Coke does that for him. So like he'll struggle with that like a lot of addicts do, but I think next week will be the week where he hopefully figures that out. So we can move forward with a sober Richie who has kids. Who has kids, so you can just sign a bunch of bands and stuff.
I don't know.
Well, actually, I get you're a sober Richie whose kids got taken, that he can, through the next 4 weeks, prove to his wife that they can come back.
Yeah.
It's hard to
He's at his
know.
rock bottom, for sure.
Yeah.
And I don't think that this situation sets him up to stop doing drugs. Obviously, like rock bottom, you're like, just keep going deeper, you know?
Sometimes it can make you like,
but no, I do think that it is kind of the thing where he's like, oh shit, like
wake up call.
Yeah, wake up call. Exactly.
I don't know though, because like,
but not permanently. I think like a little band-aid for a while.
I know.
I think it's a little band-aid. Yeah.
It's just like you think about at this point, it's hard to know. I mean, we do know there's a second season, but it's like I could almost see Richie like dying. Like it's weird. He won't. But like him as a character plays more like a Shakespearean tragic character than like a Scorsese anti-hero, or like a Walter White, or like a Don Draper, because like he's a little pathetic, because there isn't. I'm trying to figure out what makes Richie kind of a badass. Do you know what I mean?
You see a little bit of it like in the beginning with his like love and passion for music. Like, and
the funny thing is that we haven't really seen that.
We haven't seen. No, I'm not saying we've seen it,
and
but
I think
know
his
that,
risk taking with turning down the deal and then being like, "Let's get back to the music," sort of thing. Like that was
Alibi
cool. That was
Records.
cool.
Yeah.
Like let's stay with our own thing and go for it.
Yeah.
Like so, I think he can find that again and have it be fueled not just by cocaine and murder fears, but like
murder guffins.
It's just interesting because I don't know. Like I don't know, and I feel like sometimes I'm like Richie's gonna make a comeback, but like I feel like he's almost primed to just like crash and burn. I don't know. I don't think that'll happen, but I'm curious to see how it won't. Is where I'm at. If that makes sense.
That makes sense.
Yeah, I agree.
I don't know.
I don't know. I see him definitely sobering up in Devin. I really think that Devin and him should separate. As much as I do like their little sweetness that they have, she needs to do her own thing for a while.
At least for I want to see her kind of and have reclaim herself again for a little while.
Or stay with Ingrid and Ingrid's boo with the kids and realize that that's
living in an artist community
and realize that that's crazy, and that she likes the stability of dating a record man. But also that record man needs to sober up and deal with his own stuff.
How about the line? The one thing we didn't talk about was what she did say to Ingrid, that like how she hears the creaking and she can just see herself hanging from the raft, like her wanting to almost be suicidal. Is she suicidal?
Oh yeah, she needs to work her stuff out too.
Yeah.
Instead of talking to a divorce attorney, she should probably like talk to a therapist.
They both need to go to therapy. And Richie needs to go to rehab.
Get that racket to that pillow, to that couch again. Oh man. All right. Well, I think that was pretty solid. Y'all. Thanks to you guys in the chat, Tina, Good Girl Gamer, Peter Vo, who was there a lot in the beginning. Thanks guys for chatting. And be sure to, join us next week, same place, same time, and talk to us in the chat on YouTube, and then tweet to us what you think throughout the week, during the show, all that stuff. Thank you guys again so much for watching. I'm Lauren Salaun. You can find me everywhere online at Lauren Salaun.
And I'm on Twitter. You can find me on Twitter at Steve Kaufmann. That is Kaufmann, and I'm so sorry for the spoilers.
And I'm on Instagram and Twitter at Laila Sadny.
And I am on Twitter at Jeffrey C. Graham, and on Instagram at Jeffrey Crane Graham every week.
Awesome. Thanks, guys. We'll see you next Monday at 4 p.m. Pacific.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
See you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.